thy.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. This is Talkin VAWLS Live. I'm Boogie Billy.
I'm Balls JP.
I'm Dauber.
I'm the Indy Kid.
We are 3 weeks into spring practice. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about open practice from Saturday. We're going to talk about this quarterback competition, and we are going to talk about anything and almost everything, maybe not everything. Some of the things that you guys in the chat want to talk about. And we're going to go until Boogie collapses. But we got Donovan Milliken hanging out in the live chat talking about that running back room. David Speaks is here and says, nobody is separated at quarterback. David, I'm going to disagree, but we'll jump into it. We'll talk about it. Lucas Sharp talking about that baseball team. What up, Lucas? Scenic is here. Kelly Goodwin is here. Says, go Balls. What's up, Kelly? Who else we got? I'm already running out of breath. Captain Crabtree is here. Balls offense looking good with Hooker and Beckwith in the backfield. Cody Branch, what's up, Cody? You're not a little late. You got plenty of time. Plenty of time. Corey's here. All day Vol is here. I guess that's the fun, sexy topic is talking about these quarterbacks. And, you know, it was good to see some 11-on-11 work. But when you sit down and you look at all the reports, all the clips, all the video for this first 3 weeks, Indy Kid, where do you sit on this quarterback room?
Concerned. The reports I'm seeing are concerning right now with – I'm not saying – I mean, I've said Bailey the whole time. It sounds like Bailey's running a distant third team right now at best. Maurer, what I've seen for him – the Brian Maurer, we've seen the good and the bad, makes a good throw one time, makes a terrible throw the next, and then sounds like Hooker's doing okay. But, you know, you alluded to this in one of your videos earlier in the week. It sounds like, and the writers from Go Vols 24/7, Patrick Brown and Wes Rucker, both said, if I'm Tennessee, I'm looking into transfer portal right now. That's extremely concerning.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. Man, when you talk about Harrison Bailey and say that he's pretty much seems to be running with the third team, I'm going to stop the show and get Indy Kid a mic stand. I can't stand that. Look at him keeping that straight face like it wasn't him that did it. When you talk about the quarterback room and Harrison Bailey, man, people get upset. They get upset when you say Harrison Bailey is falling further and further behind. But the reality of the situation is that's the way it seems to me. JP, what are your thoughts on the quarterback room?
Yeah, same what Indy's saying. I mean, it is concerning. I was never really sold on Hooker as far as passing ability go. But yeah, I really thought that Bailey would have stepped up, but it is concerning that seems to be that he is running third, and you know. It's just going to be hard for me to trust Brian Maurer. He's going to have to prove it, you know, come September, and he's going to have to prove it several times. Didn't one of the VolQuest guys say that he looked pretty good, but then when they got into 11-on-11 work, he threw a couple of picks yesterday as well. So
threw deep balls, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, that's the thing with Maurer. You just don't know what you're going to get with him.
I'm going to throw this out here, though. Talk about Brian Maurer. He came in highly touted, you know, a decent recruit. Didn't have anybody develop him. Didn't have a coach pushing him. Didn't, you know, when he came in, I believe Boogie was all for Maurer and the spark he brought, the energy he brought. The thing about him, he couldn't stay healthy enough to stay on the field. The games he got into, the games he started, he never finished. Played a little bit reckless. But, you know, Heupel recruited him. Heupel tried to get him at Central Florida. So he does fit the kind of ideals of this offense that they're going to be running. I mean, at the end of the day, we've got to give this kid a chance. We got to give this kid a chance to be developed, to have the talent that he had coming in groomed and grow. everything I'm reading, he is the guy that's sort of, I don't know that he's distancing himself from the other two, but he is taking the first snaps in the order. It's everything I've read. It's Maurer, Bailey, and Hooker in the order that they're running through drills.
No,
So,
it's not. No, they've been changing it. They've been mixing it up the whole time and kind of rotating through. Like one day Maurer will lead the way, one day Bailey will lead the way. It's been all over the place. But the problem, the ongoing problem, and you're right, I like the spark that Maurer brings. And even, something I touched on about the open practice is he's a guy, if Hendon Hooker makes a play, Brian Maurer's the first one to celebrate. Like he's got that fire to him that I like. And people talking about Hooker in the chat here, David Speaks talking about Hooker not being able to throw the ball vertically down the field.
Yeah, he can.
If you don't protect the football, I don't care how far down the field you can throw it. But a lot of people talk about Hooker not being able to throw the deep ball, and then they act like Harrison Bailey has a cannon. The problem is, and like this with Corey Braswell saying that Hooker's not the answer, and somebody had said something about, here it is, Scenic. If every quarterback gets a chance during the regular season, we're in big time trouble. Big time trouble.
Be the same old story. Bad, very, very bad, inconsistent offense.
I mean, with Maurer is be good. Yeah, I mean, the thing with Maurer, you're getting into what we've seen though, where he makes it's going to be this JG all over again. Makes one good throw and then makes a terrible throw, and that's if he's reckless like that, for every good throw he cancels that, you can't trust him, and it's going to have to be somebody that's safe with the ball. And if Caden Salter can stay out of trouble, I think he's going to have a pretty good chance. And, JP's called it, and that's going to be the starter. If he can stay out of trouble, but he's missed a whole spring practice for not using his head.
Well, I mean, see, and that puts him in the boat that you were in with Bailey going into last season.
Yeah. It's hard enough to start as a true freshman,
he's
but now
behind.
let's not go through camp.
He's behind.
He's behind.
And he did it to himself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he made blame it himself on that deal, for sure. So
frustrating.
Get his head on straight.
You guys didn't want me to do this, but I'm going to because only 19 people have hit thumbs up. We got 71 watching live. Scenic's going to be real upset that I'm doing this, but we got to get those thumbs up rolling, or I'm going to keep doing it. Scenic, you're on thumbs up patrol. You better get them coming in here. We're talking about the quarterback competition in Knoxville this spring. Something that has come up, and I talked about it in an earlier video, and I got some comments saying that I'm an idiot and don't know what I'm talking about, and that Swain doesn't know what he's talking about. But Jason Swain, and I think, JP, you correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Austin Price from VolQuest talking about that Josh Heupel is going to go into the transfer portal. And to me, that's concerning when you've got 4 scholarship quarterbacks and you're going to go seeking someone in the transfer portal, a second quarterback, essentially.
Yeah, I mean that's what they're saying that they are. There was rumors here about a month ago that quarterback from Michigan,
Milton.
I can't think of his name.
Joe Milton.
Milton, yeah. I don't even know anything about him at all. You might have anything on him. I was too lazy to look anything up when I heard his name. So
I looked at him today, but I didn't see any stats on him. I know he's from Florida, so I wonder if there's a connection.
Right.
If he was recruited at Central Florida, but yeah,
might
that's
have been, yeah.
24/7 mentioned him as well. So I think it's highly possible. And I was looking at all the quarterbacks in there today, and most of your top-notch quarterbacks are already committed somewhere. There's a couple of interesting names in there. It seemed like based on schools they were coming from, but they've already missed. I mean, they took Hooker, and maybe he works out, but yeah, I don't know. Joe Milton is the one name that I've seen there, but I don't know if he's an upgrade over what we have or not.
Yeah, that's what David Speaks saying. He said he's okay, but no better than Hooker. So,
I mean,
it's just tough. I mean, it's just a tough situation to be in. But I mean, hopefully one of these 4 that's down there right now can figure it out this summer. I mean,
see, here's somebody else telling me how stupid I am.
Remember
that I have no idea what I'm talking about. Complete idiot. It's all bull crap. Look, guys, I don't have any inside connection. But when Jason Swain says something on his show and he gives you a little wink, how many times has that guy told us what's going to happen without telling us what's going to happen? Because Jason Swain is on the inside and he has connections and he seems to know what he's talking about. So don't take it because it's something that I said. Take it because I'm telling you where it came from. But if that is the case, if that's what happens, this quarterback position is in some serious trouble. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And to repeat myself from an earlier video, what was Chris Winkie doing in Knoxville? Absolutely nothing. I guess I don't know what they did.
Cashing the check, man.
Collecting a check, yeah.
And Jim Chaney. What was Jim Chaney doing too?
Jim Chaney should have been working with the quarterbacks. That's what I don't get. I'm going to be a walk-around coach. You know what that means? I'm not going to do anything at practice. I'm just going to stand around, and then I'm going to call plays on Saturday. But I don't even think he did that. This is a good point from David Speaks talking about Dylan Gabriel. Could that be the guy, and is that why everybody's winking? You think that's a possibility, Dauber?
I don't know. I really don't think so based on what Gabriel, how he reacted to Heupel leaving. And I don't know if that was sour grapes, but I think there was a little bit of tension, for his former coach and the way things kind of went down there. But Heupel did start playing him his freshman year and leaned on him and developed him into, the successful quarterback he was this past year. I know they lost a few more games than Central Florida has in the last couple of years, but I think that was more due to their defense. They still led the nation in a number of offensive statistics, and but I don't know that Gabriel would follow Heupel. If he was going to do that, I think it would have happened already.
Yeah, I mean, probably so. And I think somebody said there, Heupel said that he wasn't going to go after, former players and stuff. Now, never say never. And I'm sure if Gabriel, contacted him, said, "Hey, coach, I'm interested in coming to UT now and playing for you," seriously doubt that he would turn him down possibly. But I'm not ready to give up on this quarterback room yet. It's still early. It's still early. And, like Biggie said, it's obvious that there wasn't getting any kind of coaching down there. So, Maurer and Bailey for sure. I don't know what kind of coaching that Hooker got up there at Tech and everything, but obviously, he felt like, I guess, that it wasn't the best place for him since he put himself in a transfer portal and come to Tennessee this year. So with that, but I'm not ready to hit the panic button quite yet on this thing because I didn't expect this football team to have glaring reviews 3 weeks into spring practice. I just didn't think that was going to happen. This is not 98 balls for sure.
Yeah, and nobody's hitting the panic button. I guess you're 3 weeks into this thing. You're hoping somebody is emerging, but it just seems to be like everybody's just kind of hovering around, And so I don't know. I was hoping somebody would kind of emerge. I still think that Hendon Hooker shows some good leadership qualities, and we have to trust that Josh Heupel is the quarterback developer, right? How many times have we said it? You got to trust that he's going to go through this spring, he's going to go through fall camp, and he's going to have somebody that is developed and is the guy. I'm just worried when people in the chat are talking about multiple guys are going to play this season. That's not a good thing. And to go back and touch on Gabriel, Heupel's words were, "I'm not going to go recruit guys that I used to coach." He didn't say they're not allowed to come play for me. That's two different stories.
Yeah, that's what I said. Stories, he ain't going to tell him no.
Right.
Right. I guess. I assume that he likes him as quarterback. He had him last year.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is, though, because of history and because of the way the quarterback position has played out of recent, the fact that we're 3 weeks into practice and nobody is setting the world on fire, that we're kind of like, oh, God, here we go again. It's the same thing. It's going to be JG 2.0, or it's going to be, we don't have a quarterback. What are we going to do? I think you've got to trust this staff. You've got to let them do their jobs, implement this offense, and develop the guys that are there. If those guys don't work out, how many times have we heard from this staff? We're going to take the skill sets of these players and game plan to what fits that.
Yep.
So, if these guys don't work out, yeah, they're going to try to find somebody that is going to work out. And that's what I fully believe with this staff.
We may end up having to run the triple option then.
Let's do it.
Running backs.
Let's do it.
The thing is, the fans aren't the ones saying this. This is coming from the people who cover it.
I know, but at the same time, not everything is open to the media. There's 3 sessions of a practice, and I know they do have insight and they do see more and hear more than just kind of us regular folk. But we're 3 weeks in. That's kind of my point. I think we kind of pump the brakes on all that and let things play out a little bit before we, just shut the program down.
I don't know. I see that comment a lot too. Just shut the program down. Now let's change gears here. Nacho says the defense scares me way more than the quarterbacks do. And I'll throw this up on the screen and let you guys think about that and deal with it while we transition here to the defense. And look, it's been a while since we've all been on air. It's been a while since we've all been here together. There have been videos made. There have been comments made. There have been all kinds of opinions thrown out. But we've not been together, so we have to talk about it, and that's the Aaron Beasley situation. Look, it's just one of the worst-case scenarios as far as position player to get in trouble when you talk about this defense and the lack of depth at the linebacker position. Hopefully, Willis, French, Washington, hopefully those guys and Caden Salter, I would think they're probably coming back sooner rather than later. So that's going to help the depth issues. Also, Jeremy Banks being hurt, he should be back soon. Hopefully, he's been dressed and going through drills, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. But let's talk about this Aaron Beasley situation. Some people say it's not a big deal, that it's just an animal. And this is all allegedly. The number one thing I want to say before somebody comes in the comment section and clips certain things out, we have to let it play out. We have to let the legal process play out on this thing. But if true, Indy Kid, I already know where you stand on this. He's got to be gone, right?
If true, yeah. Yeah, because, somebody said, well, the thing, it's a stupid cat. Well, you do that to my 2 cats and see what happens to you. Just simple as that. I don't care if you're Aaron Beasley. I don't care if you're Big John Henderson or who you are.
Oh, whoa.
I'm just saying that's, but yeah, it's got to play out. And I hope it's a hoax. I hope it's just, sour grapes over something going on. But yeah, that's a sicko for you. If it turns out to be true and he doesn't deserve the right to be on the team, whether it's an animal or human or what have you.
I'm with the Indy Kid. Don't even touch my animals. Don't touch my animals. But there's a difference between smacking a cat and saying, get out of my chicken wings. I think that's what the whole thing started over, was freaking chicken wings. There's a difference between a smack and torture. Mm-hmm. And again, it's allegedly, but there's a huge difference between the two things.
Yeah, the thing that disturbs me is these kids, this particular situation or all the other situations that you hear about, these kids have so much in front of them, and off the field incidents can derail and basically take away any chance or shot at a future that they have, because something like that happens. And I'm not justifying or saying it was okay. Absolutely shouldn't have happened if it did. And I'm kind of the opinion, yeah, if it did, when things play out, I think the only correct answer to that situation is him being dismissed from the team.
I agree. That's what'll end up happening if it is determined that that's what happened. I think that he'll definitely get the boot.
So JP, what do you think of this linebacker room? What do you think about them getting a guy? Is there any confidence at all if they move a guy like Roman Harrison to the inside once he gets healthy, and then Jeremy Banks comes back. But I've laughed at myself for
There's not
saying
going
that
to be.
so many times. You get
I mean,
excited about Jeremy Banks making his
I
way
know.
back.
I know, but there's just not going to be any kind of experience there. Harrison's been limited this spring, so he's not really getting a whole lot of, I guess, a whole lot of opportunities there to kind of learn that. So it's dire straits in that linebacker room for sure. I mean, it is. It's that is definitely going to be the weak link. In my opinion, for this football team all season long. If there is something out there in the transfer portal, that's where I'd be going. I'd be definitely trying to find me somebody that's got some experience, somebody that's played, high level of, Power 5 football, to see if they could, get them down there and help out this fall, because it is. I mean, when you read those practice reports and, not taking anything away from those kids, because, they're down there, busting their hind end. But my goodness, when you start hearing about walk-ons and long snappers, having to play, I mean, obviously, that they need bodies to be able to go through practice and stuff like that. But, Willis was a kid that, I think all of us was probably expecting was going to get some play this year at linebacker. And of course, he's in trouble now and he's missing the spring. And of course, the Beasley deal with that. And then with, the other two that decided to, leave for greener pastures, I guess, as far as Henry T and Crouch. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, when you think that Jeremy Banks is your leading
guy, yeah.
leading linebacker that's returning, yeah, it doesn't give me a whole lot of warm and fuzzy feeling for sure, Boogie.
Yeah, and they said from the open practice Saturday, it sounds like the offense pretty much whipped up on the defense all day, especially up front, pushed them around a lot.
Isn't Banks hurt too? Isn't there something with him that he's not practicing either?
Off-season surgery to clean up his shoulder, I think it was.
Maybe I need to have that.
I know I do, probably on both of them, and go ahead and get my other knee done too while I'm at it.
I think I'd seen
Stink's getting old.
Joseph and Paige were running first team Saturday. So
yeah. How many years has Salon Page been down there? I mean, I think did Dooley not recruit him? I'm serious.
Yeah, he's a redshirt senior. Redshirt senior. And that's the whole problem. That's
seems like he's been down there forever.
JP, it goes back to what you just said. The problem is we're concerned about guys that shouldn't even be starters, right? We're like, we got to get Jeremy Banks back on the field. You got Aaron Willis. Willis is a huge loss. It's like these guys shouldn't even have been stepping foot on the field because your two starting linebackers just left for greener pastures, like you said. And that's why when we were talking about those guys leaving and how crucial it was for them to come back, and some of the response in the comment section, which I know the majority is not in the comment section. The majority is good in the comment section. Some of you people just piss me off, and then I have to go on these tangents. But when you say, wow, we were 3-7, don't need them. That's your two best linebackers on a 3-7 team. So their backups are now playing. So now you're talking about backups starting at linebacker from a 3-7 team. Let that sink in.
Yeah. I mean, I'm certainly excited about Morven Joseph, but I mean, it's just purely just, at this point in time, we don't know what he's got, I mean, he looks the part, was a pretty highly ranked recruit. So, I would expect him to be able to come in and make some plays, but, it's all just purely speculation right now because we just never really seen him play a whole lot last year. Well, he flashed at times. I remember he had a big play at Georgia.
At the end of the day, we're talking about a position group that struggled last year, even with those guys.
Oh, yeah. It was horrible.
Looked lost in coverage. Anytime you had a linebacker running with a tight end or a slot, they were 2 steps behind. I don't care who it was. And now you're talking about Banks being the top returning guy, and he's a converted running back. You know, he did not come into college as a linebacker guy. I know he played a little bit in high school, but his primary position was running back. Started as a running back. And now we're relying on him to be one of the guys in this position group. You know, and I think Indy Kid has made this point. You got to look at linebackers last year and the coaching that the linebackers received. And the same point I was making about the quarterback position group. You know, I think we had there was a lot of people failing at their job last year. And it did nothing but hurt the team and reflect on the play on the field, and it is reflecting in the lack of depth and development that we have looking forward right now.
Yep. And I mean, it's a new start for this staff. This staff, look, they're still trying to analyze and figure out what they've got, who plays where. And, you know, you talking about Jeremy Banks being a running back, converting over to linebacker, and that just leads into the next topic. And that's Leonard Whitehead. How does that guy, especially when somebody right at the beginning of the show in the chat talking about the running backs being the strength. And that's where I'm at with this team too. I've said it all along, Jabari Small, like as good as Eric Gray was, I was not concerned as far as number one guy. I feel like Jabari Small runs hard, runs downhill. He's a good running back. And then when you have Jerry Mack come out in the press conference and talk about how he does everything right, talks about his work ethic, talks about he's the hardest worker in the room from the practice field
Born to run the football.
Born to be a running back, man. The guy does everything right. Take it a step further. D. Beckwith getting a ton of hype about the way he runs the football. Jalen Wright, ton of hype about the way he runs the football, makes cuts, makes guys miss, everything you want in a running back there. If he can learn, you know, some of the pass protection schemes, bright future for that kid. So when you're a guy like Leonard Whitehead, Indy Kid, you came out of high school as almost, I think, a top 10, 11 linebacker in the country. Why not go ahead and make that move? Do you think they're going to make it, even though Jerry Mack says, we've not had that conversation? Wink, wink.
Yeah, it's got to be looked at some point. I mean, that's the obvious person to move, in my opinion, because he's buried on it. And, you know, you mentioned those three running backs, and, you know, they're pretty high on Tyon Evans,
too.
I
was going to say, you didn't even say Evans.
Well, because he's not participating in practice is why.
Right.
But still.
Exactly. Yeah, so, I mean, you've got four guys right there that are ahead. And, you know, T. Hodge is apparently getting a lot of carries too. So I think your two most obvious guys are Whitehead and T. Hodge. And I don't know how much linebacker T. Hodge played, but yeah, if I'm Whitehead, do I want to be hard-headed and stay a fifth string running back, or do I want to possibly be a starting linebacker? My decision's pretty easy right there, because I'm a pretty prideful guy. I want to play rather than sit. So, and man, yeah, I mean, just like Corey says here, Whitehead can't stay healthy. That's his biggest thing. So, I mean, maybe he is a real good running back. We just don't know right now.
It was so funny, man. On Swain this week, he was talking about the whole situation too. And you saying, if I'm Leonard Whitehead, kind of made me think of it, because he's like, if I'm him, I'm looking at that linebacker room and it's empty. Like there's two people and the coach sitting in there. He's like, you go to the running backs room, it's like going over to your grandma's house and you don't have enough chairs. It's like you got card table chairs pulled up to the dining room table because so many people are sitting in there. That linebacker room is empty. I'm like you, Indy Kid. If I want to play Division I football and have the opportunity to start and contribute, that linebacker room is where I'm going, man. I'll swallow my pride.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the obvious move right there, because I don't know how a Morvan Joseph or Roman Harrison, these guys have been edge guys the whole time, and apparently they're working at middle linebacker. And I get they're trying to get who they can on the field, but yeah, if I'm Whitehead, if I'm even T. Hodge, I'm saying give me a chair in that middle linebacker room.
Yeah. What JP, what do you think about these running backs? Who do you pretty?
I'm excited about running backs. Definitely am. Definitely think that's probably going to be the actual strength of this football team. You know, from the way that I thought Small ran ran the ball last year, I thought that he should have got some more carries than Chandler got for sure. I'm not sure why that the staff kept on putting Chandler in over him and stuff like that. But I was always impressed with the carries that Small got, and then how a team can be as bad as they were last year and have somebody like D Beck with which I know that he was hurt, but when he got healthy, it still took him several weeks to get on the field. It was just crazy to me that they didn't find a way to get him, more involved during the season until late with that. So Evans been banged up. Doesn't sound like he's been practicing a whole lot, but he seems to be a really good prospect. And then this Jalen Wright kid, they're saying he's got some wheels on him. That he's kind of the speedster. So with that, I think Tennessee can probably get some things going in the running game this year. Of course, all that's going to depend on how well the offensive line does also with that. So, but definitely think that there's probably more talent top to bottom in that running back room than there probably is on the entire roster.
I'd almost argue with the wide receivers. I think the wide receivers room is coming on
close
fast. When you talk about, Bayless Jones, I think towards the end of the year, he showed what he can do. And, they were talking about Josh Palmer in his pro day. And did he really get a fair shake in college? Because the problem is he didn't have anybody to get the ball to him. And, so you see these guys that leave and then they go on. Look at Callaway when he went on to the NFL, man. Nobody could get that guy the ball in Knoxville.
Yeah. I think Palmer will end up playing the NFL. I think he will.
So it all comes down to finding the right quarterback. But I'm telling you, man, I like that wide receiver room. I think Bayless Jones, Jalen Hyatt, that's a good 1-2 punch. But
Jimmy Callaway.
The things you hear about Jimmy Callaway and even Tillman has been getting some praise this spring, man. Like he's just quietly sitting there going to work. Could be.
Were they saying that Callaway's kind of
indie kid looking like me?
Yeah.
Well, look at this. Look what a gorgeous panel this is.
Haven't they said that Callaway's kind of stepped up to the third wide receiver now?
I believe so. I also read this week at practice the JUCO kid Kobe. Anderson Kobe, and then Walker Merrill have been getting a lot of work and playing pretty well going through the drills. So, I mean, I think like Boogie just said, that there's a lot of talent in the running back room, but I wouldn't sleep on these wide receivers. I mean, there's another guy that I don't think we've mentioned that torched a couple of Crimson Tide defensive backs, Jalen Hyatt. I mean, you look at the speed and the athleticism that these guys have. It's just a case of who are we going to put out there to get them the ball so they can make the plays.
Indy kid, that's the best you've ever looked.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I noticed that. Had some noise going on.
It's where we're all set up to use StreamYard to make videos. You got to change it when you come in, but doesn't matter. Kevin Bear's agreeing. Hyatt's a dangerous weapon. We just got to find somebody to get him the ball. That's what it all boils down to. Any kid, I know you weren't here. You might repeat something. What are your thoughts on this wide receiver room?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I mean, it goes back to, when I did a video a few weeks back on it, there's a lot of talent down here, a lot of speed here as well. And last part I caught you was talking about Bayless Jones and how he's come on. I heard Callaway mentioned as well. That's the main two that I've heard mentioned. But, if somebody can get them the ball, there's talent in the room there with Hyatt. I mean, Hyatt's been hurt the whole time, but Holiday's burner. I haven't heard much about Weidman. I think he's been hurt some, but I heard you mention Cedric Tillman. But there's talent in the room, and I think everything with the offense is going to revolve around. It's going to come back to quarterback because the offensive line's been praised, running back's been praised, wide receivers have. So where's the one? It's going to be just like the last few years, will go depend on the quarterback.
This is something I want to talk about with that offensive line. But first, I got to do it. Scenic's he's going to be upset, and I'm sorry. We got 142 people watching live. Guys, do us a favor. If you're new here, smash that thumbs up. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live. We're going to continue to drop videos every day if possible, leading all the way up to the orange and white game on the 24th. We're going to watch that live right here on the Talkin VAWLS network. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. That'll be a lot of fun. But let's keep going with this conversation here, talking about the offensive line. JP, you're the expert here. You're the expert when it comes to the big uglies, and it's not because you played offensive line either. Is it a situation, though, when you're looking at good on good and the offensive line is getting praised and the defensive line is question marks? Is that why this offensive line is getting praised, or do you have confidence in this offensive line? And let me run it down here. When you go left to right yesterday, or not yesterday, but I don't even know what day it is. I'm so doped up on cold medicine. The open practice, you had Dane Davis running left tackle, Jerome Carvin at left guard, Cooper Mays at center, Lampley at right guard, and Cade Mays continues to get a lot of work at right tackle. That's a lot I just unloaded on you, JP.
So that was the starters yesterday?
Yes. That's what I can't figure out is because
where was Spraggins?
He was running with the twos, and so was Darnell Wright. And we keep hearing how Darnell Wright looks great. He's in great shape. And again, guys, it's spring. We know it's spring and it's early. They're working guys different places. I just find it interesting that Darnell Wright is in the best shape of his career and running with the twos, and you've got a former walk-on at left tackle and Cade Mays working right tackle instead of right guard. I just can't figure it out.
Well, I mean, and I think that I talked about this maybe the last time that we done the live show or whatever, but I think this staff knows what they got in Cade Mays. I mean, he's going to be a senior. He's got experience. He's played just about every single position on the line. So they are just trying to build depth because, I mean, they're going to have somebody. I mean, people get hurt. People might be out a week or two or something like that, and we've got to get some depth. And I'd say that's why that they're putting some of these guys in some of these other positions and trying them out, trying to get some depth built because if we play 12 games, we're going to have somebody sub in at some point in time to fill in for hopefully not long, but there's always somebody that ends up being hurt. I mean, that's just the nature of it when you play a sport like this. So again, from center to guard, I think Tennessee has the players to have a pretty good offensive line. It's the bookends, it's tackle. Can Darnell Wright continue to grow and develop, and can they find somebody else, in my opinion, to play left tackle, and that way that they could really put Cade down at guard. That's where, in my opinion, Tennessee would definitely be the strongest. Kayron Calvert. It sounds like that. That they're repping this Davis kid over him. What does he decide to do? After spring. I mean, Tennessee needs him to come on and be consistent and start playing up to his potential. But who knows if he ends up getting beat out by a former walk-on at the end of spring practice, does he start looking around?
I think they've mentioned it before that Davis, they grade him out every day, and he consistently grades out among the highest. So I think
maybe that means that we don't have any pass rushers, though, Andy.
Yeah,
that's my question. Yeah. When you're playing good on good, what does that mean?
Well, I mean, if this offense that we saw that could barely move the ball last year is getting the best of the defense on a daily basis, that's not
going to be a lot of 50 to 40 scores.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, because I'm
hope we score
the defense. 40. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I would rather lose 50-40 than 50-13, like we saw with the old Pruitt led and offense for sure. So with that, but that Dane Davis kid, I mean, watching the highlights, practice and stuff, I mean, you wouldn't know that he was a former walk-on. I mean,
he's a big dude
by looking at him. I mean, yeah, I mean, he is big.
Yeah, I mean, this is not
whether
like,
or not he's athletic enough to play, left tackle in the SEC. I mean, that's yet to be seen. So, but
it's not like you're plugging in the 270-pound Sullins twins,
brothers. Yeah, or what was the other tackle that Butch recruited? I can't think, Lord.
Jared May, if you want to do a super chat, when you go down to the comment section on YouTube, there's a $sign down there. You just click that $sign. It asks you for an amount. You can say whatever you want. It's a tip in the old tip jar. We would appreciate it. Wow, he's doing our Dauber. Is that a fake account you set up? I appreciate that. I appreciate you putting that work in.
Marcus Tatum was who I was trying to think about.
Oh, yeah.
Tatum. Yeah, which is
Central
odd.
Florida.
Yeah, which is odd because he's at UCF now. Yeah, Drew Richmond. Oh Lord.
I think this offensive line could be solid if like Indy Kid said, if Dane Davis is grading out as good as they're letting on, and he can win that tackle spot. And those are the questions, like you said, JP, the ends, the bookends. If you can get some work out of Dane Davis and Darnell Wright, move Cade back into right, you're ready. Let's go.
Yeah,
you got to stay healthy.
Got all kinds of potentials at guard, guard and center both. Because if they're able to move Cade into guard, then you've got one of two Spraggins or Carvin that's going to be your backup. So probably though, before it's all said and done, we'll end up having to have Cade play tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I hope not, because that means that Wright or somebody is not. I hope this Davis kid is the real deal. And, it happens on teams every year. Yeah, absolutely. As I said, whoever thought somebody from Sullivan East would be kind of pushing the start down there, but
yeah.
I keep seeing still, the topic of the chat is the quarterback room. My last thought on the quarterback room is based on what's in the transfer portal, and unless a name, and who knows after spring, you're probably going to see other names hit the portal after spring. Unless it's a for sure upgrade, I don't think you go that route. And I don't know that Joe Milton is an upgrade based on what I've seen. And the only other name I was looking through the portal that really stood out to me, there was the Perry kid who played at Miami, who was recruited by, it could have been Butch Jones, and then Austin Kendall, who was committed to Tennessee, went to Oklahoma, went to West Virginia. He's in the portal right now. Maybe those two guys could be an upgrade. I don't see anything else, and I really think it. And I agree, on the part 3 weeks in, and I don't know why this staff would, after 3 weeks, say we got to go to the portal on it. Because if they're as good at developing as they say they are, then I think they can get a quarterback ready to play in this offense. Because these guys have got talent. They just got to be developed. I mean, when you're stroking it for a couple years as a quarterback coach and doing nothing for it, this is your chance to rebuild them from the ground up. So it's always going to be the hot topic, and it's continued to be.
And I just wonder if the whole transfer portal thing isn't a fact of Heupel and company think that they need to go to the transfer portal versus there's a kid out there that's already made that decision, and that's where the swirling rumors are coming from, is they know who that kid is. Let me hit this $2 super chat. Cody Branch says, get on the hype train. Offense is coming back to Tennessee. Thank you so much, Cody, for the super chat. And I hope you're right. And I believe so. And I know we probably came out of the gates hot tonight, sounding pretty negative with the quarterback room. I still have the confidence that Josh Heupel is going to be scoring a lot of football points this fall. I don't know how many baseball points or basketball points he'll score, but a lot of football points this fall. Cold medicine, man. Cold medicine.
Let's hope
I mean, kind of like what Indy was saying. I mean, Tennessee can't be the only school that continues to struggle with quarterback. I mean, we watch college football every single Saturday in the fall, and teams are scoring more points than they ever have now, and offense is just throwing it all over the field. But for whatever reason, down at UT, it's like just pulling teeth.
I said it the other day when we were all on. Tennessee has for the last, I'm going to say, 2 coaching staffs. Butch had a couple years there where it was kind of exciting to watch, had some playmakers making plays. But going through this Pruitt staff, we weren't just struggling to score points. We were struggling to get first downs and move the ball down the field. It was a grind to get 10 yards and reset the chains. It's just – and the whole brand of college football has changed from that style. And like you just said, JP, it is, spreading it out and throwing the ball all over the field, getting in space, letting your playmakers make plays. And I hope that's what Heupel and this staff brings to Tennessee. And if they do, it's going to be completely different than what we've been used to and accustomed to as Tennessee football. But it's kind of exciting.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to hit this super chat. Jared May asked instructions, figured it out. Those $5. Is this somebody Indy Kid?
I wish I could say it was, but
I think you're a liar. Jared May for $5.
I'm not Dauber. I don't plant people. Here, so.
Thank you. Let me get through this super chat. Thanks so much, Jared, for the support. It says Indy Kid being added to Talkin VAWLS is Peyton Manning being added to the Denver Broncos. Yeah, but see, he didn't make us champions. He made us champions. I don't know what that is. But we're great at it. Indy Kid's been here, I guess, well, me and JP are OG original founders. We freaking laid the foundation for this place. And then you just go find people that know what they're talking about. But yeah, having Indy Kid back has been awesome. It's been a good run. Ton of videos come out if you guys are basketball fans. So check those out. A lot of roster turnover, coaching changes, all that good stuff. But thank you for the super chat. We greatly appreciate it. What were you going to say there, Indy Kid? I didn't mean to cut off a champion.
No, hey, thanks for the comment too, man. Appreciate it. But Jared, you think of the offenses, we've had about 3 exciting offenses in the last 15 years?
Yeah.
2 of them with Josh Dobbs, 1 with Tyler Burry. And then I guess the last ones before that were Eric Ainge. Mm-hmm. Ever since Eric Ainge left, the offenses have been awful. And, Crompton turned it around a little bit senior year, but most of the Dooley tenure, the offenses stunk. More of Jones
here when we couldn't stop nobody.
Yeah, I mean we may be reliving that this year if we can score some points, but
we might.
It's been the offenses keep getting better everywhere, but Tennessee. So hopefully we're finally getting with the times because I think the days of defense wins championships. You still got to have a serviceable defense, but. You got to be able to score some points. The days
be scoring points.
Win 13-10 or 10-7 are over with.
Yeah.
I can't wait till we crack 20, man.
I know it, right?
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
We'll be on here screaming about the defense every single week. It'll just be going back to when Tyler Bray, me and JP having arguments because the offense scores 50 points and he blames the offense for losing the game. And I'm screaming, be yelling at each other.
They should have scored 51, Boogie.
Oh, it was so funny. So funny. I won't bring up old Josh Dobbs arguments we had.
Speaking of the defense, though, hearing that the defensive line is getting pushed around, that is a little disappointing to me. Looking at all of those guys that Tennessee has down there, on paper, I mean, there's some real talent on that defensive line, and maybe that as more that this spring goes along in the summer and then fall camp, maybe having Gardner down there coaching them up will help. But certainly sounds like that defensive line is still soft.
I mean, they had another year without coaching, just like the other. I mean, because people stuff. What about Tracy Rocker? He coached his hind end off.
Yeah,
his last year down there
that
you saw development.
Turned out to be a huge loss.
Him and Rump both were big losses last year, and I think it was overrated because people tried to say, well, they don't recruit that great. They were good recruiters, not bad at all, but their player development was a whole other thing, and we missed that bad.
Sometimes recruiting isn't all that it is. You give me a 3-star with a chip on his shoulder and somebody to coach him up. Sometimes that's better than a guy coming out that's a 5-star and been told how good he is his whole life, and wants to slack off. And
the story for us has gone the other way around more times than not. A 5-star recruit comes in and underperforms.
Yeah.
Too many times.
We've seen it too many times.
Let me hit. We got a couple more super chats here. This one, Kevin Bear.
You're going to struggle reading this one.
Kevin Bear paid $5 just to insult us.
Really?
I can't believe somebody would pay $5 to insult us. But thank you, Kevin, for the super chat. JP, do you want to read that?
No.
I know Indy Kid doesn't want to read it either.
Hey, I don't have the hatred for the Cowboys you all do. I don't care for them, but
Kevin Bear says Talkin VAWLS is like the old Cowboys. Jimmy Johnson, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin. I don't even want to be any of those guys.
Why didn't he at least put Bill Bates in there or something?
I would have gone with Bill Bates. I would have gone with Jason Witten.
Alvin Harper.
Yeah, Alvin Harper. Yeah. Come on, Kevin. But we appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, we appreciate the super chat. We'll forgive your taste in NFL teams. Jared May paid $5 to correct himself and says champions. Sorry that I can't spell. I graduated from the University of Alabama. Jared, you didn't have to do a super chat to correct it, but we appreciate any and all support. Thanks so much for that. Goodness gracious. My voice is about to give out. We'll go a few more minutes here. Anything else you guys want to talk about on the defensive side of the ball? I know the defensive backs, the corner position is going to be interesting to follow. Who's going to get that second spot? Because I think Alontae Taylor has the potential to be a real contributor this year.
Yeah. Was somebody saying that Burrell's looking pretty decent? Is that what somebody said in the chat?
I think I read that yesterday. They said Burrell had some decent moments.
Yeah, he was mentioned in the notes from the open practice. But Burrell or Kenneth George, who do you think gets that outside spot?
I mean, outside of, I can never think of his name. The one that declared for the draft.
Oh, Bryce Thompson.
Thompson, yes. I thought George was definitely the second best last year, outside of Thompson. So, I guess that's encouraging that if we got Burrell making a move, because I would expect it to Ben Thompson and George. But now, I think this team just probably, of course, it's kind of way the defenses are even out of necessity because of the linebacker room. But I think that there's going to be tons of nickel play.
I think they're going to live. Yeah, they're going to live in nickel for sure.
So,
you
let me hit this
now.
Yeah. Now that man 256, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, now we're talking. I'm Art Monk. Who are you, JP?
Oh, Gary Clark. Absolute ridiculous that he's not in the Hall of Fame. Look up his stats. If you don't believe me, look up his stats and compare it. The dude should be in the Hall of Fame. He was an absolute awesome wide receiver, fearless.
Talking Redskins. I'm not going to call them whatever they call them now. I do want to hit this because something that was cool. Nugaloots wants to know what special teams are going to look like. We haven't heard anything as far as who's going to be in the return game. But at the open practice, it was Jimmy Callaway, Jimmy Holiday, and Jalen Hyatt fielding punts. So you talk about some playmakers back there returning punts. I like the sound of that.
That's your burners right there.
Yeah.
That's better than hearing. I was hard on. I was never a fan of Callaway at punt, even though Callaway did some. He was probably better than I gave him credit back there. I just hope we can return a punt. It just seemed like I don't remember a time last year where they ever returned a punt. It was always a fair catch or something. So
Wonder what they are going to do as far as return specialist.
I don't know, but old Mike Eckler, he's got the chili hot. So
Oh,
better
my
have that
goodness.
chili hot.
Likes his chili hot. Well, you would think Bayless Jones would be on kickoff returns. That's what he was. I mean, of course, he was kind of a disappointment last year. But anymore, it seems like they kick it through the back of the end zone anyway.
Return game, and especially kickoffs, is almost it'll be a thing of the past here in the next few years.
Yeah, I'm just waiting on them to start spotting the ball on the 25 and not even kick off anymore. Wouldn't surprise me.
I think it sucks. I think that's a big part of the game gone. But yeah, like you said, I don't know if these guys' legs are just that much better, if he's footballs or what it is. But yeah, most of the time they're kicking it. That's why it always burns me up.
Yeah, he doesn't plant people in the chat at all.
Y'all are killing me, man.
I didn't say anything. I'm just reading the chat.
Hey, I am rocking the Sunday Cream baseball jersey.
Way to break it out after they lose.
Way to jinx them.
Hey, won the series. That's 2 straight series wins over Florida. That's the first time since 1970 that they've got 4 straight conference series wins. This team's rolling, and they're fun to watch.
That was a tough one to swallow today.
Yeah,
I can't believe Vanderbilt, man. I can't believe them.
Yeah,
which kind of makes me nervous because they're going to come pissed off next weekend.
I don't know. That's going to be a hell of a weekend series.
Yeah, it's huge.
I just wish they'd open it up to where the fans could go, or more of them.
Did you see the Ole Miss game?
Good Lord have mercy.
Super spreader.
Good Lord have mercy. Let's just throw our drinks in the air. Wow. Let's do this real quick. Hold on. Let me. I actually know how to share the screen, unlike Indy Kid does.
Hey, I know how to share it now. I figured it out.
Hey, I've been learning.
You struggled, didn't you, Indy Kid, on that one video?
I thought it was shared, man. They obviously did.
So
I got
funny.
it shared later on. But.
Let's take a look at this. The official store for Talkin VAWLS merch. You guys, you drop super chats, you show up. Most of you press the like button. I appreciate that. You guys are awesome. If you want to pick up Talkin VAWLS merch, you can go. The link is in the description below the video, but also it's bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. If you think we are the Mount Rushmore, I know you're calling us the Washington Redskins and everything else, but if you think we're the Mount Rushmore of Tennessee media, you can pick that up. We've also got the Talkin VAWLS coffee mugs. You can see mine back over the shoulder there. And then old school logo merch. We got to come up with some new stuff coming out this fall. So if you want some of this old stuff, you better get it while it's hot. You better get in where you fit in, all that great stuff.
Oh my God, you said merch twice.
I know somebody's going to be pissed, but I guess they'll get over it.
You're going to get blasted.
That's all right. This is the best logo design, period, hands down, ever. The State Pride merch. Check that out. There's 3 times. Somebody is irate. Also, Vol Hoops merch. I love this. I think I'm going to pick up the black hoodie because all my Talkin VAWLS hoodies are gray. I think I'm going to pick up the black one and the Talkin VAWLS basketball shirts. But pick any of that up that you want. Anybody that has merch, if you haven't done it yet, tweet it out. I want to see you guys tweet it out. Tag the Talkin VAWLS Twitter. It's in the description below as well, or you can see them there. Scrolling across the screen. Fuse Gaming wants to know, what about the quarterback competition? We're about to wrap this thing up, but you can catch the replay. We talked about it for about 15 minutes leading into the show. But I think my voice has had all it can possibly take. So we're going to wrap this thing up. Just a reminder, we're taking this coverage all the way up to the orange and white game. So we'll be dropping videos and content throughout the week and then probably go live sometime next weekend again, leading up to the orange and white game. We'll do the live watch party for that as well. But I think that's it. I think that's the plan. Then we're going to have some downtime, man. This channel is going to have some way downtime between the orange and white game and fall practice. But we'll drop some baseball videos, I'm sure. Maybe do some baseball live streams while nothing's going on. So just make sure you're subscribed and tuned in so you know what's going on with Talkin VAWLS. Maybe we'll even do just some hangout streams where we'll talk about our favorite balls of all time. Or maybe we'll watch the 98 National Championship game. We'll pull it up on YouTube, watch it together. We'll find a way to keep this channel active at least once a month because you guys, man, so many of you are members of the channel, which we appreciate. Jared May with another $2.99 super chat on the way out the door just to say y'all are awesome. That even includes you, JP, even you. Y'all means all of us. So I
appreciate that. Appreciate that, Jared. Thank you, sir.
That's it. It's going to wrap it up. For Dauber, for Falls JP, for the Indie Kid, my name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
How like weed, poets sat in our chains, soaking moonlit falls on